What it's up, Alpha family, Alpha community. I hope you guys are having an amazing or had an amazing week. It's Friday. Today we're filming on a Friday because last Sunday we weren't able to do it. But hey, it's a beautiful Friday. Now, something that I do want to mention is something that I forgot to speak about last time that we spoke was shout out to the Christmas tree right here in the back. Amazing, beautiful, red. Very intentional tree. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Today we have a special guest. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen him, but his name is Luisito. We got him on the podcast today. Just playing. He's always here.
What's up? What's up, guys? I'm once again right here with my best friend Bryan. You guys already know.
What's up?
So today we're just gonna talk about stuff that we were missing from the last podcast that we did, because last time it was very intentional, but we ran out of time. But there's no problem because we can always record once again, right? So today I'm just gonna ask you a couple things, bro.
Okay, cool.
Related to what we were talking about last time about like leadership and all that stuff. But there's more to become a leader, right? Like you gotta take control of your life. You're also a business owner, and today we're gonna focus a little bit more on that, more in the business side, right?
Okay.
So the first question that I want to ask you is, what beliefs or what mindset helped you to basically rise from poverty and build a successful business?
Okay, awesome. So it's all about the experiences in life. I believe that it's everything. Well, everything that you need to know, life will teach you. And the way that I began to adapt a mentality of wanting success, wanting wealth, wanting all of these beautiful things is that me going to Mexico really helped me develop myself and helped me instill more of a mentality of resilience, with also the understanding that finances was very important, because the lack of opportunity in Mexico was outrageous. I lived there for 4 or 5 years of my life, and growing up, those were one of the most important uh, periods of my life that allowed me really pick that mentality of, como decimos en Mexico, más vivo, more alive, right? More alive, more present, more aware of what's life. And before I went to before I went to Mexico in the US, everything was like sugar coated and everything was like numb, right? And you wouldn't see the struggles that it takes for somebody to really start making money. Because when you're young, you're a kid, you don't see people really work. You see them come back to work and back at home. And I was like 7. And I know that my mom would have to leave to work and then come back to work. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, like we can't live in a luxurious lifestyle anymore. So I realized those things very quickly when I was young, and being the oldest out of all my siblings, it really allowed me to catch upon those things. And I really started realizing that life was more. And if you really wanted to get somewhere in life, you really had to ponerte las pilas, like nothing was gonna come and be giving anymore. And when I got to Mexico, like I really came to the understanding of nothing was gonna be giving, and everything that I had to work or I wanted to earn, I had to work for, and I had to work 10 times harder than somebody that might have an easier path. And that really helped me realize those things. So that's where I started molding my mentality and awakening of, hey, I want to be successful. The fact that I was in Mexico and I lived in Mexico was really something that boosted that up. And if it wasn't for that experience, I don't think I would be as hungry as I am today. So that's also helped me pick up the hunger. So whenever I came to the US, coming to the US really helped me realize, wow, this is such an amazing country. There's so much opportunity. There's so many other things that you can accomplish here. It's so much, in a way, easier. You still have to work hard, of course, but in Mexico, you even working hard, you're still limited to the amount of opportunities that you get. coming here to the US was something that opened my eyes and made me realize, like, dude, like, you can really create whatever you want. Like, the opportunity is here. Like, all you have to do is work towards it, and you can start creating opportunities, and you can start creating all of these beautiful things. You can start creating things that I thought were impossible in Mexico. They started to like seem and look more possible for me. And that's really what molded my mentality towards I have to be successful. There's absolutely zero choice. The struggle, the difficulties that I saw my family going through, and the understanding that I was the oldest out of all my siblings and that I had to be a leader. So I realized very quickly that I had to lead. And if I wanted my brother, my sister, and everybody to look up to me, that I needed to be an example to them. And that really created pressure in my life in a way of, dude, I can't slack. Like, I can't fuck around because people are relying on me. And the moment that I realized that people were relying on me is really where it started shifting, and everything started aligning, and started realizing that I have to grow. And I started investing in the growth, and I started living that, and I started seeing a little bit better. So that's originally like what helped me mold the mentality that I have today.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And that's
Well, also, like, sorry to interrupt you, but
very
also
good.
like you have a similar background as mine, you know, being born in the US, living in Mexico for a little bit. Like, what was the shift for you where like you realized, like, damn, you know, like, wow, like being here is totally different than being in Mexico.
Well, my first paycheck, man. Well, basically, it wasn't big compared to now, right? Because I basically spent my whole life in Mexico. Like I was born here, and then when I was 4, 5, I left Mexico, and then I was raised until I turned 18. But basically, I got here. I went to work to a construction site, like most of the Hispanics that come from Mexico or any other country. Um, and my first paycheck was $420, and all I had to do all week was like pick up trash, like 2x4s and all that stuff in the construction site, right? So when I saw $400, I was like, damn, like this is something that I will make in like a month over there, or a month and a half, because it was a lot of money for me. That's
Yes.
when I was like, this is crazy, like, because in Mexico, if well, I knew everybody in my town. um I knew doctors, what's it called, ¿cómo se dice licenciados en inglés? Lawyers, we can call them lawyers.
Lawyers.
And fin, a lot of people that had like their college degree and stuff, but they were working as taxistas, like they were driving taxis to literally, let's say, make a living out of it, right? So here in the US, you have a lot of opportunities, way better than what you have in Mexico, right? If I work here for 2 hours, I don't know if, as an example, we can say that I make $40 or $35. That's what you're making in Mexico the whole week,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a way totally different
Well,
lifestyle.
it gives you the opportunity. Being in the U.S. gives you the opportunity to afford a house, afford vehicles, afford vacations. I mean, the value of the dollar is way higher, but
Yeah.
also you're earning more.
Yeah.
And that's really what starts creating opportunity, because with a bigger income, you can get more creative
Yeah.
and you can start doing all these things. But it makes it affordable too, because that's how we're able to afford this lifestyle. I do remember in Mexico, the majority of the families like are all living together in the same house, and they're just like living in different floors.
You see like 8, 9, 10 people living in the same
And that's
house.
because of
Yeah.
the economy, right? And a lot of people don't pay attention to, like, for example, me, you know, like I own my own house, and like the majority of people in the US that has family, you know, they own their own property, you know, that come from Mexico or any other country. So in Mexico is like we all live in like the same building, and like everybody is living in a different floor though. And it, yeah, it's together, and the culture is together. However, you don't have like your own space.
Exactly. Yeah. So, jumping into another question, Brian.
Well, before we jump into that, I would like to answer this next one, right? Which is what started molding my mentality.
Oh yeah.
What started molding my mentality to really be successful. Like I told you guys, it's experience, but also the experience that I gained through the jobs that I worked. Because if it wasn't for me working in a factory, working as an electrician, construction, um, doing all of these other things, whenever I came into solar, I wouldn't have realized how an amazing of an opportunity it was. And that really helped me mold and adding to the experience in Mexico, but the experience of like working here after high school made me realize and open my eyes that I did not want to go to a factory. I felt like people that were working at a factory at the time I was working at a candle factory, and from 7 p.m. to like 7 a.m. And I had school in the morning, which is absolutely crazy, but that's the only job that I could get at that particular time for several reasons, right? So seeing everybody work at a factory, I was like, dude, this is just a jail. Like, I can't believe people do it here. Like, I spoke to people who are doing TM years, 15 years, 20 years even. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like, the bell has to ring, then you can go to break, then the bell rings, then you have to go back. And it's like, and you clock in, bro. They had like those cards. I don't know if people
Yeah.
still use them, but you clock your card in and shit. And I was like, dude, like, this is crazy. Like, I could not believe that people like really live in that type of environment for 10, 15, 20 years. And it's the same people that usually complain about their job, however they're still there. And I've always had the mentality of like, dude, if you're somewhere that you don't like to be, then move, do something else. So that really molded me and prepared me for solar and sales, because the moment that I came in and I had to take charge of my own life, I realized very quickly how um well it was something for me to be really truly grateful about. That's what it was. But anyways, yes, bro. Like, I just wanted to get that out of the way because that's really what helped me. And meeting a lot of people now that I bring people into our team and stuff. Sometimes you notice that what people have is a lack of experience, and because they have a lack of experience, they don't know how to appreciate an opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how would you say, how is persistence important in your business, or at least any other business?
Persistence is important in business because I always say that I operate from a mentality that if I'm going to do something and it happens or it doesn't happen, I don't attach my emotions to it. And the reason why a lot of people have a lot of lows and a lot of highs is because they attach emotions to those. Being persistent allows us to keep pushing. When you get into business and when you get into sales, you start realizing that when things get tougher, if you go harder, you unlock a new level, right? When you feel like you're just gonna give up and you're gonna break, you unlock a new level. So you go through those waves so many times in your life, Luis, that you just get used to it. Like, you just get used to it. You know that, look, this is a little bit of a difficult season. I'm gonna get over it eventually. So now you almost get addicted to tough moments, and the persistence picks up because now you're like, okay, well, let me just push harder. Let me figure it out. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. So you have the persistence, you understand where you're gonna go, and all you have to do is start operating at that frequency, but you got to stay persistent, because when things get tough, then that's a sign that you're going to the right place.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you, like, how do you apply it in the toughest moments of your career?
I realize that I'm a man, and I realize that it doesn't matter how much I pray to God. The way that I apply persistence is that I take action. Like, a lot of people will sit there and sit in the sofa, look at the ceiling, or sit in their bed, look at the ceiling, lay down, and think about how miserable their life is, and they don't take any action. So, in order for you to be persistent, you have to say take action. You have to take action. In order for you to be persistent, you have to take action. How do you take action? Is that you become aware of what's holding you back, but also you become aware of why are your thoughts the way that they are. And then you ask yourself, okay, so me sitting here and thinking about this situation or about this problem or about how deep in a freaking situation I'm in is not gonna fix the problem.
Is literally thinking about your emotional decision or taking action in
It's
your
not
logical decision.
exactly. It's not gonna fix the problem. The
Yeah.
only thing that's gonna fix the problem is yourself. That is literally it. Like nobody's gonna come and save you, and that's something that I tell to people around me all the time because that's something. That's how I had to be built up. Like I had to go through situations in my life where nobody was gonna come and save me, and I went through it in multiple layers. And I thank God that He taught me that lesson, and I thank the people that taught me that lesson very early in the stages that I was in, because that's really what built persistence and that mentality of success in me. You know, it was something that had to happen, and as difficult as it was, you guys, I need you guys to understand that the most difficult times and the most difficult moments in your life will make you the toughest. And like that saying, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. That's absolutely true. If you guys think about a moment in your life where you're like, fuck, like I don't know how I'm gonna move on from this particular thing. That particular moment is really what created you. And it created a better version of you. And this is why you're sitting here today and you're watching this, or you're having this conversation with me, or you're listening to this. The reason why is because you unlocked a new level and you gamify that. And now that's what I started doing with my life. I gamify it. It's like new levels. You achieve new levels throughout your career and throughout your life.
Yeah, and how would you say? I don't think that you ever feel this, but how do you handle fear whenever it comes to a very, very difficult decision when it comes to your business?
The way that I handle fear, and I really appreciate you bringing it up in a way of like, dude, I don't know if you ever feel this, because we are humans and fear is an emotion, right? So having a fear, actually, I've learned how to turn that into fire and fuel. And that's what really has helped me. And the reason why I say it like this is because when I feel a little bit of fear, I really look at the fear itself and where it's coming from. Usually it's scarcity mentality of things maybe not working out or not going your way, or what are people going to think. So what I do with that fear is that I freaking grab it and I freaking turn it into fucking fire and I fucking put it under my ass. And I'm like, dude, I have to go and attack. That's literally what I do. I have to go and attack. So like, there's moments in my life where I'm fearful. Like there's moments where I've had 100K in my bank account and I've dropped to like 15, 20, 25K. And it happens. And that's fear, bro. Like that's so much fucking fear, because you're like operating in a place where like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to figure out? Well, you just take more fucking action and trust the process. And if you have a very strong spiritual connection, that's going to allow you to operate in peace, operate at a high frequency in order for you to turn that fire into fuel. And that's what I recommend to anybody, is like turning fire into fuel. That way you continue going and continue pushing.
It's like turning the negative into the positive, right? Looking at
Perspective.
Yeah, perspective. So how do you maintain yourself focused on your business?
That is the way that I maintain myself focused in my business, is that it's being in alignment, right?
Yeah.
So the way that I maintain myself focused to my business is being in alignment with where I want to go in my life and my goals. And because I understand where do I want to go in my life, my goals, my purpose, it allows me to stay focused in my business. And it's like having core values in our business, right? Like accountability, loyalty, progress, growth, honesty, and abundance. So me living those core values every single day, knowing what the mission is, keeps me focused and it keeps me in alignment towards where I want to go. Yes, there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of moments where you're doing things that are not leading you towards the next step, but you're going to learn and you're going to grow. Something that I've learned very strongly is that I'm never going to shame myself because of an error or because of a mistake or because I couldn't achieve what I wanted by a certain amount of time. I'm not going to shame myself for those particular things, because I do understand that it's progress.
Yeah.
It's progress. It's not perfection. It's progress. It's you making progress towards that goal. And guess what? It's never going to go straight and you're going to achieve it. It's not going to happen. I hate to break it to you, but it's not going straight in a line. There's going to be moments where you're going straight and you're like, oh my God, I'm getting there. And then boom, you find yourself in a situation where you're like, fuck, like, I don't know what to do. Like, and then you continue going, you continue pushing and build persistence, resilience, and continue going. And then you might be like, oh, I'm almost there. And then boom, you drop again. And that's going to happen to you multiple times. But at the same time, how do you prevent yourself from going all the way down? Is that you create the right systems in your life to help you understand and have that even kill mentality that I talk to you about all the time.
Yeah.
Of even if there's fear in my life right now, I operate in an even kill mentality where like the universe sees and understands that I'm not there. Like I'm not operating at there. And that's how, you started the conversation with like, I don't know if you ever are, but like there is fear. It's just that I've learned how to like adapt to it and turn it into fuel.
Yeah. Okay. And how you say that? Well, what's one thing that you wish you knew before starting your own business?
One thing that I wish I knew before I started my own business
It can
is
be related to solar, to anything emotional or logical.
one thing that I wish I knew before I started my own business is understanding the reasoning of the why and my purpose. Because if I would have fully understood my vision and my purpose and my why, it would have really allowed me to eliminate a lot of the lessons that you originally have with business. And what are those lessons? Maybe bringing in the wrong people into the company, bringing in or promoting the wrong leadership, ignoring the red signs, preventing yourself from encountering and working with people that are not in alignment towards your purpose and your goal and your values. So something that I suggest to anybody, because you will learn it, especially if you're going into business, is that it has to be led with there has to be values, there has to be vision, there has to be purpose, there has to be goals. I started a company without understanding what core values were, understanding what the purpose was, understanding what the goal was fully, right? Like I had an idea of it, but you really fully don't grasp it. Yes, you need to go through experiences in the business multiple times for you to understand it. However, if I would have understood my purpose, I could have built my business in alignment with the purpose together, and then it would be easy for you to reflect people that are not in alignment with those things.
Can you make a little bit more clear what purpose is?
Purpose, the reason for you opening your eyes every day. And I promise, the reason for you opening the eyes every day is not for you to go to work. It's not for you to go to the gym. It's not for you to clean your house. It's not for you to drive your vehicle. It's not for you to go to the bank. It's not for you to do all of these things. Take care of your family. Not even that. Like loving your family. Like not even that. Like your purpose has to be bigger. It has to be bigger. I can't tell you what your purpose is, of course, but I do know mine. And I do know that that purpose is what helps you wake up in the morning, open your eyes, and start working towards your life and start working towards a better place and start working towards where do you want to go, where do you want to be at. And there's a lot of understandings when it comes to this, but when do you stop, you don't. Does time ever stop?
It doesn't.
It doesn't fucking stop. So why would you? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense for people. Oh, well, like, when do you feel like it's enough? There's never enough. The universe expands every fucking day. Why would you ever think that when is enough? There's not. There's not enough of it. Like, if anything, we need more. There's an abundance of it. So you have to continuously work towards it. So purpose is that thing that fires you up in the morning and you're just like, holy shit. Like, I'm so grateful to God because he has given me the opportunity to live this beautiful day today in the present. And now because of that, I'm going to live very intentional and I'm going to attack my goals and serve the community and serve my people.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things that at least a lot of people is missing, at least in my environment, the purpose, right? Because I mean, you've seen and you heard it before. All I want is like a little truck, a house, and that's about it. You don't need anything else, right? One time this is like 4 years ago when I was still working in construction. I used to live with two guys in a trailer.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, well, I just want a trailer. The trailer is literally a house. I don't need anything else. Like, why the fuck would you go get yourself in debt for a house? And I just looked at him, and that's when I realized that I was in the wrong environment because I did not want to be with people who think so small. I mean, everybody can like think whatever they want to think, which is fine with me. But I'm just saying that there's a lot of people missing their purpose, like a really, really big purpose in their life, you know?
They're missing the purpose because of people are missing their purpose because of everything they consume, their environment, their environment, what they're listening to, what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's what they're missing their purpose. There's no clarity. There's so many fucking smoke in their freaking head. They're lost. If you're drinking every freaking day, you're fucking lost. Like there's nothing that you can come and tell me right now that's gonna convince me that you're lost. Oh, but I work hard and I need a drink. No, you don't. You don't fucking need a drink. It's just smoke. It's like you're just blurry in your head because when you know where you're going, you don't need distraction. You understand where you're gonna go in your life, and that's why people are lost. And I believe that that's why we have so many freaking problems right now as a society. That's why we have so many people that are depressed, anxiety being at its fullest. And we have a life and a society full of scarcity. You know, what are the biggest things that make it and go viral is drama. It's all fucking drama. Like the freaking fight that we just watched last weekend. Who was it?
Mike Tyson. Oh, actually, it was the best fight. Let me shut up. But yeah, it was Mike Tyson against Jake Paul.
What is that fucking drama? That wasn't even a fight. First and foremost, that was not a fight. I don't know what that was. And
the crazy thing is that there's people thinking that was fire, which
that is absolutely crazy. I think
trash.
that the people that think that was a fight is because they don't know what boxing is.
They started just watching.
So, well, back to topic. Like that's an example of like people care more about a fucking fight than what the fuck they're doing every single week. Yeah. And that is the problem. And you need to go home and figure it out because you need to find yourself. And the reason why we run into and go and distract ourselves with either going out or drinks or smoking, etc., is because we're lost. And that is okay. I mean, if you don't want to admit it, then that's totally fine. Like, I'm not going to get hurt by it. However, subconsciously, you know that you need to figure it out.
Yeah. And let me ask you one more thing. I don't know if there is a balance, but whenever you're making a decision, how do you balance the risk and the reward when it comes to making a decision in your business, or at least for the company?
The way that I balance making a decision in my business is rewarded, like the risk and the reward is that I first and foremost look at my purpose, and I look at my purpose very strongly. I look at the alignment of the company. I look at where am I going? Is this decision going to get me closer to my goal or it's not? And if I invest in this particular area, is it going to get me closer to my goal or is it not? And I'll give you guys a great example of this. When I first started my business and when I first started Alpha, I used to think that if I invested in this software, if I invested in this software, if I invested in this other software, was gonna allow my team, myself, and Alpha to be successful and 10x the company. Well, you find yourself that software, yes, is crucial, is important, it will make your life easier. However, it's not something that's necessary. And if you find ways to like understanding that, like be very creative on like, okay, this particular thing is the one thing that I'm using right now, and that is it right now, then it's gonna help you get there, you know, to the next level. But investing in all of these things is only gonna like sink you slowly because then you have cash flow eating you up slowly that you don't even realize you have because you're thinking about growth, but you're forgetting about everything that's coming out slowly. And it's like bleeding, you know, like you start bleeding slowly. So how do you manage the risk and reward of making a decision is that you look at the alignment and then you look at your finances and you, obviously when I started business, I didn't have this, but now I budget myself on marketing. I budget myself on my virtual team, I budget myself on how much money I'm investing in software, and there's budgets for every particular area. So when you are looking at your cash flow and your money and you're looking at your budgets, it's easy to make a decision, because if you only have $1,500 a month that you can spend on software, then now it's a very logical decision. You remove emotions out of that, because originally I was in an emotion world of like, but if I invest in this, it's going to help them do so much more. Well, you then find out that the people that are using it are not even fucking caring about it, because they don't have no skin in the game. The moment that you have skin in the game is when they actually start caring about it. If I purchase software right now as a company and I was like, hey guys, we're going to use this, and everybody's like, okay, we're going to do it. If I'm paying for the entire software, they're going to not take care of it. But if I'm like, hey guys, so you guys are going to give me $10 every single month to use this software, then they're going to start using it because they have skin in the game. That's what investing is. But going back to that question, is budgeting yourself, well, budgeting your business and seeing what budgets you have. And then after that, it's simple. It's like, okay, it makes sense. We're going to do it.
And is there anything else you want to tell the audience before hitting out?
Yes, absolutely. What I do want to leave you guys with is that in order for you to find yourself, because I did speak about finding yourself, in order for you to find yourself, you have to look within, inside. You have to look within, inside, and see, okay, where in my life am I hurting? Where in my life am I having difficulties unlocking the can and looking down and seeing that? Where in my life am I afraid of thinking about? Because when you start asking yourself those intentional questions, you start to be intentional about it, is when you really start to find yourself internally. And that's where you need to find yourself internally. You need to find your spirit. You need to get that. And that's how you really start developing better understanding of life, better understanding of yourself, better understanding of your goals, better understanding of your family, better understanding of why you're doing the things that you're doing. And now you can make better decisions in your life. And now you're more constructed because you start working on your foundation. And think about it like this. If you build a house on no foundation, it's easy to fall. But if you build a house with a strong foundation, it's going to sustain itself. Even when there's a hurricane, it's going to sustain yourself. It's like driving a freaking Ashboro the other day, you know. You saw the damage that this last hurricane made. Do you remember the name of the hurricane? Okay, I don't remember the name of the hurricane, but it took a lot of houses. And that's an example, you know. It's unfortunate, but yes, like this is you every single day because you have no foundation. Anything can take you. What happened? Somebody yells at me or somebody beeps at me and I go all fucking crazy. That's a fucking problem. That is a problem because you have no foundation. Or I'm drinking and the first thing that I want to do is argue with somebody or fight somebody. That's a fucking problem. I'll give you guys a great example of this is yesterday we went to play soccer and this guy wanted to fight everybody in our team for some reason. And it's just because we were counting fouls and we're like, dude, like chill, bro. Like that was a foul, like calm down. And he just wanted to fight everybody. And then he started talking crap. That's a person with no foundation. And I would be more worried about a person with no foundation than another person with a strong foundation, because when a person of strong foundation gets mad, then they're actually going to do something about it. But a person with no foundation gets mad and gets upset, they tell the whole world, and the whole world knows about them being mad and angry, and they have no foundation. They're not going to do anything about it. It's just an act.
Yeah.
That's all it is, unfortunately. But that's the way that life operates. With that said, guys, I truly appreciate you guys tuning in into another episode. We're getting ready to do another one on Sunday, but this is our Friday, fun, freaky Friday episode. I'm super excited to continue to provide you guys with value. We're thinking about doing a live stream on Instagram soon, and super excited about that, right? So just start throwing our freaking interviews on Zoom and bringing other guests into this podcast, right? Truly appreciate you guys for being here. If you guys liked or took any value from this, please share. Please leave us a review. This is on Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok.
Everywhere.
and Instagram, everywhere. All
Everywhere.
right. Thank you guys. Peace.